So I had an aunt who is the youngest of 9 children. She was 12 years older than me, and in many ways I thought of her as a sister. Her dad had committed suicide when her mother was pregnant with her, and my grandmother was tight-lipped, cold, detached, and distant in certain ways from this particular child. And I'm saying that based on what I've observed and based on what my aunt had shared with me. And my aunt always thought that, she was the apple that tipped the cart, that was 9 kids was too many, and that she always carried this burden that her dad had committed suicide because she was coming into the world, all based on assumptions and not true at all. And I knew this because I'm confrontational. I'm just not going to let things slide. So I had this conversation with my aunt about her thoughts and how she had placed things and what was going on in her mind. And I knew it wasn't true. And I went to my grandmother and I said, your daughter believes X, Y, and Z. And my grandmother said, our first daughter died of pneumonia when she was 4. And my husband said, we're going to keep having kids till we have another girl. And she was that girl, and that he so longed for. And for her to think anything other than that just was so separate from the actual situation. And I remember saying to my grandmother, well, just tell her, will you please? And I would see my grandmother pretty regularly. And I'd say, did you tell her? Have you told her? Have you talked to her? Did you share? Did you? Nope. Nope. Not going to do it. And I was left with going back to my aunt and saying what her mother had told me. So I got my burden off the chest. You know, I want to walk in truth. So I told her what I knew, and she knew I was confrontational. She knew I was going to go straight to my grandmother. But she was that daughter that couldn't talk to her own mom. It's unimaginable to me, but she was. She was. So here we are, June 11th. Step 9 says, I need not make direct amends to those who I have injured, if in doing so I might cause further injury. How do I know whether or not to take action? If direct amends are inappropriate, I can trust my higher power to let me know. Otherwise, if I have worked the 8th step and become truly willing to make amends, I believe the opportunities will arrive when I am ready. For example, I was unable to discuss my personal life with my mother. Fearing her rejection, I rejected her instead. An upcoming visit presented an opportunity to make amends, but I wasn't sure I was ready. Would making amends at this time injure me? After my mother arrived, I had the feeling that this was the time. I prayed for courage and asked my higher power to help me find the words. My mother sat down with me in a quiet moment and, to my amazement, brought up every single subject I had wanted to discuss. And I realized that the opportunity to be close to her had always existed, but I hadn't been willing, until then, to take part in it. Today's reminder: my higher power does not put any challenges before me that I am unable to face. The comfort I find in that knowledge can overcome my fears. And here's the quote: the lure of the distant and difficult is deceptive. The great opportunity is where you are. And that's by John Burroughs. Some of our fears are founded, some of them are real. I think oftentimes our kids do things they're ashamed of. We all do. And they don't want mom or dad to know. Um, but we're not their judge. You know, we offend God and God alone. So why worry about the offense? We hurt people. It's normal. We all do it. The point is not to be a serial abuser. The point is to share and listen and make some adjustments so that we can live in a more harmonious manner with each other. Or agree that we need to stay on the opposite side of the fence. And that's okay too. That's okay too. There's no shame in it. Blessings on your day. And we all have mommy issues and daddy issues. Normal, normal. Peace and blessings.